I'm like happy with this DJ name, even though it kind of sounds like, I don't know, like a dildo. I've signed contracts for record labels, and it's usually a 1 to 2 page document. The BTT contract was a 10-page document. I just said yes. I'm like, sign my life away. I'm keen to do it. Whatever it says. If I got to sell an arm or a leg, I'll fucking do it. And he sends me like this voice memo. He doesn't type. He just sends voice memos. He's like, hey, yo, Shake Daddy, what's good? Like, hit me up when you're over. I literally just like saved the voice note and put it into the track. And what's funny was like when I played my set at the Opera House, which I feel like, and it literally had a red carpet. It had the nicest green room I've ever been in. It had like, you know, the classic, like when you go and when you imagine what the backstage of a concert hall would look like, that's what it looks like. It has like the light bulbs all around it, the vanity lights, and it has a red carpet, and it had fruit platters and champagne. Like, it was fucking bougie. And I was like, damn.
What's good, everyone? Welcome back to Behind the Tune. Joining me today is a beloved producer and DJ from Sydney. She has supported the likes of Kyra, Stum, and Skin on Skin, and has recently been announced on the Beyond the Valley lineup for New Year's Eve. With a diverse range of releases, exciting sets, a new EP on the horizon, and plenty of more exciting things on the horizon, I'm glad to be joined by Sydney's own Shake Daddy. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Good. And before we start the episode, sorry guys, just want to say, make sure you like, subscribe, share the episode around. As I said before, we've been doing some good numbers recently, so I want to keep that momentum going. So make sure you like, share, and subscribe. But anyways, let's get into the conversation. So I mentioned in the intro that you got announced for Beyond the Valley.
Yeah, I'm so stoked for that. Honestly, I am very nervous, as you would be. It's the biggest capacity of audience that I will be playing to, as like I've played like sold out Metro for Skin on Skin and Kedamar, which Metro Theatre, I think the capacity is only 2,500 and BTV is 35,000. So like that is a lot. That is a lot of people. But obviously it's not going to be 35,000 people all at once. It's like the entire festival, and I'm sure the festival itself is really big. But yeah, it is quite daunting, but in a good way. I'm very excited.
Is that your first festival?
Yeah, I mean, I recently played at this street party called Heaps Gay for the Heaps Normal guys, and that was like my first like open air kind of setup instead of inside a club or like venue. And it was really nice, actually. I feel like people are a lot more less skeptical and more keen to just like party and like dance. But yeah, the capacity, the space when you're outdoors is a lot bigger, and I actually I enjoy it more, and I want to be playing more festivals than clubs. So I'm very excited for BTV.
That should be exciting. And you're on the New Year's
Eve,
the 31st of December.
Yeah, I'm playing on the main dance dome. I'm not sure if I can release any other information other than that. I think
that's information. They released like the stage splits.
Oh, okay. They have. Okay, cool. I just didn't want to get in trouble if I said anything, because the contract when I'm with Proxy, who's owned by Entitled, who also runs on BTV and all those other festivals in Australia. When they sent over the contract for me to like overlook and sign, it was the longest fucking contract ever. Like, I've signed contracts for record labels, and it's usually a 1 to 2 page document. The BTV contract was a 10-page document, and I'm just like, I had not not that I am inarticulate, but with legal jargon, it kind of gets lost in translation, and like I just said yes. I'm like, sign my life away. I'm keen to do it. Whatever it says. If I got to sell an arm or a leg, I'll fucking do it. And like, yeah, they, all is sweet. But I. Sorry about that.
All good.
Sorry.
Let's go back.
Figure out what I was going to say.
The contract.
Yes, the contract. Yeah, so the contract itself was pretty full on. But other than that, I am very excited to play, yeah.
How far out do you think you'll start preparing a set list?
I'd start now, but the thing is, like, I feel like every DJ, well, myself, I'm the kind of DJ that never plays the same set. Like, even if I don't know, it depends what kind of sets you are playing in terms of, like, if it's a tour, like if I'm like releasing an EP like I will be soon, and I'm going on tour off the back of that EP, and you're playing your EP, then you'd have to have like kind of a similar structured set because you want to play all your EP tracks. However, if you're like not playing set out tracks, I'd like to switch it up and not be that kind of DJ that's playing like the same set. Even if like it's in a different state. Like I've heard of people going to like different gigs to see like people like massive names like Fortet and stuff, and they're playing like the same set. And like, you know, fair enough, especially if they're like super busy playing every like back-to-back nights, like you won't have the time to like prepare
and stuff.
But yeah, I want to prepare a fresh set for BTV, so I'm gonna wait until like the month of, like probably the start of December, and like really like hone in on like my boiler room-esque, like, you know, it's gonna be like smooth as, and like I've like thought about what kind of vibe I'm gonna play as well. And I feel like BTV compared to like Lost Paradise and like other festivals in Australia is the most techno heavy. And I was reading like when the lineup was announced for BTV and then afterwards Lost Paradise, I knew heaps of people, my own friends in my circles, that were like selling off their tickets from BTV to then go to Lost, because it's just like they're both really expensive and they wouldn't have to like spend the money
to
travel when it's mostly because the lineup is like very similar. Like Lost has, I reckon, a bigger lineup with a lot of like house acts, and then a lot of the headliners are very similar to the ones at BTV. But from what I've heard, because I haven't been to either actually, I was reading up about BTV, and a lot of the comments about people who would rather go to BTV were saying that like aside from headliners aside, the local DJs are usually like the like, I don't know, like the best kind of niche techno that you'll be able to like get in Australia. And I think that's like a main attraction to BTV. So I want to like be one of those and like, play like a heavy, like not completely like dark techno set, but I want it to be, very like high energy, fast paced and like doof vibes.
Yeah. Well, I've never been to BTV. I went to Lost last year, but BTV gives more like doof vibes.
Yeah, for sure.
It's more in the bush.
It is more in the bush, and the capacity is bigger as well.
Is it?
Yeah, because I'm not 100% sure what the capacity is for Lost Paradise, but I know that New South Wales regulations compared to Victoria's looser. Yeah, you can fit more people in a venue. I think it's illegal to have maybe more than 30,000 in New South Wales, but don't don't hold me to that, because I am not 100%, but this is what I have heard.
Okay, that's I didn't actually know that obviously I feel like you would know that regulations in New South Wales are a lot stricter, just in general clubbing and stuff. But
even like security and stuff, like it's fucking full on. Like you get hella sniffer dogs and cops and everything to like any like event in Sydney, whereas in Melbourne, like fucking they don't give a fuck. Like they do.
They're much looser, especially like in terms of like pitch.
Yeah, for
Same
sure.
thing, very very loose down there. But it's BTV will be exciting. I think, as you said, it's going to be a bit more doofy.
Yeah, more
so
doofy.
Is that like similar to what you usually like? Is that going to be like out of your comfort zone, or do you think you'll be like used to sort of like playing that sort of stuff?
Nah, I feel like as of late, I've been playing super heavy, and like people that know me, especially the people who are booking me, like I've heard like people like who've booked me and they've said to the promoters, like, oh, let her play later, she plays really hard. And
so we're expecting a later set from you then at BTV.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if the set times are out yet, but like it's definitely like I'm playing like the main stage New Year's Eve, and like I don't know, I feel like regardless of the time, because BTV is so like doof heavy, like it's just gonna be like straight up like hard from the start to the end.
Doesn't matter who's playing.
Yeah.
What was obviously you're playing at BTV, but you were saying that the lineups and stuff very different. I think what you said was right, as in like the supporting artists are usually very similar.
Yeah.
It's usually the headliners that are the ones that differentiate the two festivals together. Did you get to see the lineup before the festival got announced?
I got to see the lineup for BTV the day or two before. Like it was super like confidential. They were like, you are not allowed to share this with anyone. And like, yeah, it was pretty like, you know, even seeing the contract, I'm like, yep, I'm not going to fuck around in any way. I'm not going to tell my mum, like, even though my mum wouldn't be able to tell anyone, I'm keeping this to myself because I don't want to get in trouble. But I'm actually like good friends with one of the main bookers and like people who manage Lost Sundays and Lost Paradise. And she, I don't know if I should name names, but it was really close with, Seb, who runs it. And in the past, I've played a Lost Sundays, and I love Lost Sundays and I love Lost Paradise. But yeah, like Seb really likes house music, and I feel like the Lost Paradise kind of like general vibe in comparison to BTV's like dirty doofy vibe is it's a lot more like clean. Like, yes, they've still got like the Kedamars and the Storm and Salute, I'm pretty sure, is on the lineup as well. Yes. But yeah, it's just like the like supporting acts are all very like mellow. Like, I'm not saying like they're not going to play hard, but it's just different vibes. It's like more housey, more like chill, like uplifting energy rather than like, yeah.
I sort of got that sense, that vibe, and I feel like that's the same. Like, yeah, you said, it's very housey, very clean. I say clean, as clean as you can get. But yeah, I think BTV's more harder technical stuff.
Yeah.
Do you think you'll thrive in that environment?
Oh yeah, I fucking love it. Like, the thing is, as a producer, I don't know if you've gone through my entire discography, but I started out with house, and I feel like that's how most producers start. You start off with house, and then you like lean into like the subgenres and the techno and whatever, like, you know, jungle, whatever you like explore. And yeah, like I love all subgenres of electronic music, and I feel like it works with me and against me at the same time, because I don't want to be pigeonholed as an artist to like only play one sound. However, at the same time, I want to have a distinct sound to my music, to have like a well-established sound and brand. But yeah, like my first like EP that I've already come out with, it's called Roots, and like I came up, like finished that EP, worked on it throughout the entire COVID lockdown. So it was very productive. I actually thrived in lockdown. I had abs in lockdown. They're gone now. Just because it was like prison, you know? I was like, okay, I'm working out today, and then I'm going to work on this EP like every single day. It was good. Like, I'm a very productive person.
You still are, or you think
I still am, but it's hard when you're working like fucking 30-hour weeks or whatever it is you have to do, because I live out of home, and, you know, like recession and
housing crisis,
cost of living, it's like, I don't have family that can afford to like buy me an apartment or pay my bills or my rent. Like, everything's done on my own. So yeah, I do have to have some other income. But yeah, like in COVID, fucking government money, like saving, because you're not spending anything. Yeah, I saved so much money in COVID, and yeah, worked on this EP. And yeah, so this EP was very like Detroit house, like Chicago house, like OG, like Kerry Chandler vibes, like which I still love. And I feel like a lot of like DJs and producers still like it's gonna be timeless. Like that kind of like classic house music is always going to be in style. And I feel like, yeah, like the like 150 BPM techno, which everyone's like into, and all the TikTok fast like pace songs, like, yeah, it's cool, but it's not going to be as timeless as something like that.
100%.
Like, I still love it and I produce it. And I've spoken to a lot of like big names, like that I've met throughout the industry. I don't know if I probably can name drop. I don't think they'd mind. Like, I've spoken to Ludes, and I've spoken to Human Movement. I've spoken to like Skin on Skin and Kedama about like production and like their journey with it. And like, yeah, like something that has resonated with me was when Human Movement Eddie came over to my house to work on a track together. I was showing him like, oh, I love this track by Oots. Like, I fucking love this guy. I love his style. He came up with this one song that was like 3 songs in one song.
Oots?
And yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this track, I'll look up the name, but I fucking love that song. It starts off with techno, and then there's like a jungle break, and then it goes back into techno. And I was like, fuck, that's sick. I want to do that. And like the BPM, he like changes to like it goes up during the jungle like bridge, and then it goes back, slows back down. And I'm like, fuck, that's such a good idea. I'm like, to Human Movement. He's like, when we were in the studio together, I said, I really like this idea. Like, maybe we could do something like this. And he's just like, Kyra, you got to learn to run your own race. And I was like, you know what? You're right. Like, because I feel like it's so easy to like compare yourself to others in terms of style of production, and like, and also lean into what's popular, like the 150 BPM techno, the TikTok trends, all that. But you got to like stay true to yourself and have your own kind of like vibe and style, and just go with what you want to do. But in saying that, I have explored, and I still am exploring all the genres, but whilst doing that, I'm always continually building and working on my craft and becoming a better producer. So I came out with this Detroit House EP, and then after that, Happy Wax hit me up and were like, yeah, we'd love to, like, Storm reached out and was like, yeah, we'd love to have you on board, like, send us something to, like, put out. And I'm like, all right. Worked on this track, and I listened to their music, like the Happy Wax tracks with Sam Alford and Ben Prophet and stuff, and I'm like, oh, damn, okay, they do, like, real fucking, like, hectic ravey music. I'm like, all right, I'm going all out. What would a rave song sound like to me? And then, like, this guy that I met in London, he's, like, a UK rapper. His name's Duppy. He's really good. He's like bigger there, like drill kind of vibes, like Roadman vibes.
Okay, yeah. Like full drill sort of vibe.
Full Roadman energy. And like how I met him was super random. I was traveling in Europe just before COVID for a few months, and I was in London, and I love London. Like, I love the culture and the scene there. Like, the music is just so rich, and I'm a big fan of like, yeah, English like rap, as well as like the house and techno that comes from there. But yeah, so I went to this like event that was like free, and it was a drill MC rap battle. And I was with my mate from Melbourne who I was traveling with, and we're both like, oh, what do? We don't have any money, and London's really expensive. Like, let's keep it really cheap. And I looked on Resident Advisor, which had all the local kind of events that were happening, big and small. And we're like, oh, that one's free. Let's go to that. So then
the MC the drill battle.
And it was in this area, which is kind of like the ghetto part of London. And I'm like, yes, let's go to the ghetto. Like, this is where the real shit happens. And like, I'm like one of those people, like, yes, I'm street smart, whatever. I'm not going to like disrespect anyone while I'm traveling, but like, my energy when I'm traveling is like, I'm up for anything.
Yeah.
I have I don't know how, because like when I'm at home in Australia working, I'm going to bed at 9 o'clock. I'm like waking up at 7. I'm still tired after sleeping 12 hours. I don't know how, but over there, I'll sleep for 1 hour and I'm going to like, let's like, you know, go travel.
Holiday mode.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting. You're like, I'll sleep later. But anyway, that night we went to this like underground like thing that was like literally underneath like a club somewhere, and it was so cool. Like all these like black English people were like rapping, and it was like the room was sweaty, and
intense.
like I was like, yeah, and they're all just like going in, and I was like, yes, like, this is sick.
Did you feel out of place?
Sorry?
Did you feel like out of place or like
I didn't.
No.
I didn't. Okay, I have been very out of place in situations when you're traveling, but regardless, when you're traveling, you're going to feel out of place because you're like from literally another like country or culture. But I felt like, yeah, this is sick. But anyway, so there was this one rapper there. He would like won the battle or whatever, and I was just talking to him after. I'm like, dude, that was fucking sick. Like, you're so talented. And like I met a few people. They're all like similar age to me, so like early 20s. Some of them were like 19. Like all like young creatives in the music industry, just like doing what they want to do, and starting out. And yeah, anyway, so I met a few people that night that were like R&B singers or rappers or whatever, and like just like added each other on Instagram and like sent music to each other. And I was asking him to send me vocals for this track for Happy Wax. So I was like, hey, like, I love your voice. He just has a classic Roadman voice. It's his normal voice. Like, whatever he says sounds cool. So I'm like, yeah, send me anything, like literally anything. And then he sends me like this voice memo. He doesn't like type. He just sends voice memos. He's like, hey, yo, Shake Daddy, what's good? Like, hit me up when you're over. Like, literally, what he said, it wasn't even the vocals to any rap song or anything. I literally just like saved the voice note and put it into the track and like added reverb and like vocal effects, etc. And it just worked so good as an intro. And it's like low-key a tagline, but I'm not gonna like
a producer tag.
I'm not gonna like have it as my producer tag. I feel like that's not really a thing in like techno. I mean, I can, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's like kind of corny, but for that track it really works. And everyone like, I mean, not that I'm that big off it or anything. It got like 100k listens on SoundCloud and like, yeah, on Spotify. Spotify's so much harder to get listens compared to SoundCloud. But anyway, it's got like,
not as accessible.
Yeah, it's like 20k plus, and like I don't use Apple Music and the other platforms, so I have no idea what it's like on the other platforms. But anyway, Oakley, I named it Oakley Sunnies literally out of a whim, just because I had bought my first pair of Oakley Sunnies and I thought they were really funny. And at the time, speed dealers weren't cool either, but I feel like it was kind of on the...
What year was this?
When it came out, it was only like a year. Okay, it was still cool, but like Oakley itself wasn't cool. No one was wearing Oakley. Like Oakley was like the classic like bogan dad like sunglasses. But anyway... Not that I made the trend. I'm just saying. Maybe I did. I don't know. But anyway.
Depends who you ask.
Yeah. After I named that track Oakley Sunnies, Oakley actually like messaged me and were like, yo, like, we want to send you some sunnies. I'm like, fuck yeah. Like, send me whatever you want. Like, I'll sell my soul. Like, ready to sell out. No, they like sent me like 3 pairs of Oakleys and I've lost 2 of them already. One of them.
They're not listening.
Bro, if you're listening, send me more Oakleys. Send me them.
So you got like a brand deal out of a song that you made.
Yeah. And they also invited, like, no, not a deal. It's not like I'm full sponsored. But yeah, like ambassador, right? And they like, invited me to an Oakley like party as well. It was like all the influencers that I felt out of place, but I brought my mates with me. There was like free drink and free food, so we're like, yeah, let's like, you know, get wasted. And like, and it was all celebrating this guy, and now I know who he is after like getting into like surfing and the culture and stuff. It was celebrating one of the biggest like surfers in the world, but from Australia, this guy called Ethan Ewing. Yeah, well, he's like one of like the top like surfers in the competitive surf like on WSL. Like he's like doing a world tour and stuff at the moment. And yeah, so he was there that night at the Oakley party, and it was his party. Like he came out with his own range of like Oakleys.
Just like sponsored him.
Yeah, like he's like proper sponsored, like massive surfer, has like probably Red Bull and all the brands sponsoring him, like massive, yeah. And like I was like to him like, oh, do you surf? Like, I just say that.
Did you know who he was before that?
Oh. I was like, oh, is that you? Oh, yeah. Like on the poster, every single poster was his face. I'm like, oh, it's your party. Nice to meet you. He was a really nice guy, actually. But yeah, that was my little like brand ambassador influencer moment. And yeah, in the past, I've been given like some things from different brands, but yeah, that was like the coolest thing because it's like purely came from a track of mine. And after that, my mates were like, yo, surely you're gonna name all your tracks like things you want, like Prada bag,
Gucci sandals.
Yeah, legit. But it was cool that happened. But yeah, since Oakley Sunnies, which was like my very different to my like chill housey, like Detroit housey EP, it obviously had a really good reaction. And what I've noticed in comparison to what you produce and listen to during the day or like whatever music you vibe to is not necessarily what people want to dance to in a club. Like when you're at a festival or a club, and I feel like Oakley Sunnies is a very like festival sounding track. Yes. Like I had mates who went to Lost Paradise and James Pepper played it and they're like, bro, like I've listened to Oakley Sunnies, but listening to it at a festival is completely different. Like this is what it's meant for. And I'm like, yeah, for sure. Like it has that like ravey energy to it. So it would it would feel like more, I don't know. It just it would sound better.
It fits the
environment. The environment. Yeah. So anyway, since then I'm like, okay, I'm doing ravey tracks. Nah, I am actually very much exploring a lot of different genres. The EP that I'm coming out with, Gallery Rex, has like housey, very like chill housey tracks, which I feel like me and Angus from Gallery Rex, as well as my agent from Proxy, were and even Lost Paradise, my friend who like runs it, she was like, with all of that in mind, I'm like, okay, I feel like I need to appeal to audiences and promoters that like not just techno acts.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be pigeonholed as like a fucking like heavy hardcore techno DJ, because I still have that EP that I made that was house music, and I still want to like have diversity under my belt and not be pigeonholed. So yeah, it's good to appeal to different audiences, especially as a like someone who's starting up and trying to establish myself. It's not gonna do any bad like to come out with things that might appeal to people outside of the club as well as in the club. But yeah, when I play my club sets, it might not even be anything that I've put out, because I want to play like heavy stuff, and like I can play Oakley Sunnies, but I'm not going to play that for an hour or two.
On repeat, on a loop.
Yeah,
that'd be interesting.
Yeah,
because I heard your transition mix that you released that got released recently.
Yeah,
that was like very, from what I've heard of your music, very different to like what you have produced and released.
Yeah,
like very, like as you said, harder stuff.
Yeah, I mean that's the kind of stuff that I'd play peak time sets. Like I feel like I know the best producers like internationally, and a lot of them, because they play more mellow vibes, they don't get the headliner sets, or they don't even necessarily get booked. Like I feel like booking and producing work hand in hand. Like obviously when you produce, you'll get more shows and be more valuable than a DJ that doesn't produce. And if you mostly just produce like really mellow vibes, you're gonna play an opening set. Like usually peak time sets, which is what you want, it's heavy. And I know, you know, like Peggy Goo, for instance, plays hard. Like I haven't actually seen her, but I have friends that I've seen her, and like she can play like heavy techno, and like she produces pretty like mellow housey vibes. So like I feel like what you produce might not necessarily be what you play, but in that said, I am producing a variety of music, so it's like some of the tracks I produce might be the kind of vibe that I'd play out at a headliner set. But yeah, I feel like once you work your way up to a level where you can play whatever you want, then I can play like, I don't know, like my mellow stuff as well as my hard stuff.
Yeah, you can sort of have a choice.
Yeah.
So do you feel like right now you're sort of, as you said, you're not pigeonholed, but you're sort of like choosing to play the hard stuff?
Yeah, choosing to play the hard stuff so that I can like get ahead and have build a good audience, like a live audience, and also at the same time build a fan base outside of like playing live. So hopefully with this EP I do that. So Angus from Gallery Rex, as well as my friend from Lost Paradise, were both like, you've got to build a passive audience to gain more of a fan base and establish yourself and have more listens and streams, etc. And like a passive audience are people who don't know you yet, and they'll listen to music like during the day, going to work, like whatever it is. They're not going to listen to like fucking heavy I mean I do as well. I wake up and choose violence. But some people don't. The normal people don't. And yeah, so I'm coming out with a mellow house track, a mellow drum and bass track, and also heavy stuff.
So it's like a mix of everything in that EP.
It is.
How many tracks?
Well, the EP itself is 3 tracks in a remix. However, I'm coming out with 3 other singles while in between the EP. Like, I'll tell you the entire
so
like
7 songs.
It's
including
7
the remix.
songs. Yeah.
Yeah.
So my first release is coming out very soon on the 4th of November. It's a feature with a local artist named Jackson. He's coming out with his EP called Aquarius, and I've got 1 track with him that I worked on with him, and that will be in his EP, and that's on the 4th of November, which is soon. And then shortly,
this will be out before that, so this will be out after that. So
yeah,
if you're
listen to
give
it.
It a listen.
Yeah,
what's it called?
It's called, the track itself is called Are You, and it's
like
on ARE and then the letter U.
Okay.
Yeah. So that track, like, I was like to him, like, oh, I want to like drop summary tracks. So like send me anything that you have been working on that kind of has that vibe. And he sent me like a few, and I chose one that had like this like I don't know, like when you listen to Kadima tracks, he uses a lot of like helium voicey sounds, like these like digital sounding what is it called, ad libs, right? Samples. And I found one, like he sent me one with one loop of that kind of vocal, and then I took that vocal and put it in a very like classic house, but like hard hitting, like 140 BPM fast paced house with like piano and like a heavy bass line.
Interesting.
So it's very like it is very uplifting, but it's like, you know, you're going hard on it as well. It's a hard house track. Okay. And that is with Jackson on the 4th of November. And then after that, I'll have the first track of my EP, because the way that they're marketing my EP on Gallery Rex is the first like single, and then the rest of the tracks dropping 2 months after. Okay. So after the track with Jackson on the 16th of November, my first track called Better Love, really like euphoric house track.
Okay, good. I'm looking forward to that. I like euphoric house tracks.
That's a really like that's the one that's going to gain my passive audience, I reckon.
You think so?
Like it's so like I really like it, and I still reckon I could play that in a festival setting. However, probably not BTV, because it's like doofy. If it was Lost Paradise, I'd play it.
Oh, so it's like in between, do you reckon?
I mean, I could. If you
start off with it.
I could start off with it, yeah. Like I'm definitely, hopefully I can go on tour with this EP, because when I was signing the contract with Gallery Rex, it has like a tour clause, and most of their artists who've recently put out EPs like Stum and Sam Alfred, they both had like EP tours with them. Because
Sam Alfred did his Suzuka tour. Yeah. What was Stum? The
Sun Chaser tour, but there was another one. I don't know. He did only just come out with more music with them, so I'm sure he'll probably go on another tour soon. But I know Stum did have a tour recently, but I'm not sure if that was with Gallery Rex or not. Okay. But yeah, they generally have their artists to go on tour, hence why I was in the contract. So I definitely going to be playing my entire EP on that tour. And then after that track, I've got a trancey track that's going to be released on Transitions label with this amazing producer from Ireland. He's called Datsko. I don't know if you've heard his music.
Yes, I've
fucking love his music, and he's so nice. Yeah, he's a really nice guy. So yeah,
he has a really cool edit of Kedima's 3 AM. Yeah, my friend showed me that track. It was that's a sick record. Is that a track you're doing together?
Yeah. So we've worked on a couple tracks together, and this one was the one that I was like, yeah, this sounds really cool. Like I wanted to do a more like, euphoric, like trancey kind of vibe with like housey elements to it. Okay. And like he slayed. He always slays.
When's that coming out?
That is coming out on the 1st of December.
Okay.
And then after that, yes, I've got a lot of music coming out over a short period of time.
This is a Shake Daddy exclusive.
Yes. I've been working on this music for over a year, since Oakley Sunnies. I've like been sitting on, like I've been working really hard, and I'm just like, hopefully, like I could have already been releasing all this music for free on SoundCloud, but I feel like it'll be more worthwhile when I put it out properly through like record labels, because firstly you get paid, and like money aside, they have like their own audience like reach that I don't have. So I feel like having it done officially through the official channels is beneficial, but it's a waiting game. Like I was meant to have released something already like months ago, but in the music industry with record labels, there's a lot of pushback, a lot of waiting, because they've got other artists and life happens and this, that. But that's why a lot of producers that I've spoken to, including Lucas Boston, his EP that he put out, we were talking about putting out music and our like work that we had been working on when we both played the co-headline set at Miranda Hotel a few months ago. And he said to me like, I couldn't be fucked waiting, I just put it out. I'm like, fair enough. Like,
which EP is that? His most recent one?
His most recent one, and I can't remember the name of it, but it's really good.
It's something like the red and white cover, is it? I don't know.
It is called...
I know it's got a bunch of tunes in there, but I don't actually know the is it... Oh, what's it called?
I can look it up. It is called...
Is it like Ride or Die? Maybe.
I think it was...
Maybe I'm just pulling something out of my mouth. I think it might be that.
No, I think that one actually was... Like, that is the name of it.
Yeah. Could be on his Spotify, but I think
it
it's
would
that
be on
one.
his Spotify.
So
but
he
that
released
was
that like
self-released.
independently.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was his own. Like he just couldn't. Hell on Earth.
Oh, hell on
That's
Earth.
the name
I don't
of
know
it.
why I got Right or Die.
No, that's a song on it. That's a song on it.
Okay.
Yes. But yeah, I liked that EP, and fair enough. Like he just didn't want to wait, and I can understand that because yeah, sometimes like I feel like the only analogy you can come up with is that coming out with music is like waiting for the right wave to surf. And like you can miss
so fitting for you as well.
Yeah. I'm just a surfer girl. No. I cannot surf. I am trying to surf. I'm learning how to surf, but I didn't grow up surfing, so I suck.
It's always good to learn.
Yeah. And I love the ocean and I love the culture, but I'm not gonna like, pretend I'm a surfer because I'm not. But anyway, it's like catching the right wave because like you gotta like I came out with this when Lil Uzi Vert came out with that track. I think it's called Just Wanna Rock, which is a fucking banger.
Yeah.
That Jersey track. When he just came out with it, I came out with I worked on a remix straight away, and I worked on this remix with this other producer called Seba, and he does really different kind of like more like commercial poppy house, but he's a really good producer and has a great like setup at his house. So we worked on this track. I'm like, yeah, I want to remix this track. So we come up with this remix. Sounds great, but I feel like with like really like high.
Hey guys, sorry, we're back. We had some technical difficulties. The camera died, so we got interrupted by that. But we're back on, so let's just continue from where we were. I think we were talking about your releases.
Yes, yeah. So I was talking about my release with Datsko.
Yes.
So that will be on the 1st of December, released via Transition.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, I've got a track somewhere in December. I'm still confirming the date. a.k.a. Sports, she's got a record label called Club Madhouse, which she only recently started. And yeah, I'm going to be releasing a very, like this track's probably my favorite one because this is one that I will definitely play at BTV and be playing. I've sent it to so many of my producer friends already. It's a heavy techno track. Like it's a belter. It reminds me of kind of like Frank.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah,
that's
kind of
heavy.
vibe. heavy. But I love that vibe. But also it's like I love a lot of different types of music. So yeah, I am coming out with a range of different tracks over the next few months. And the rest of my EP with Gallery Rex will be dropping in January in 2024. Yeah, so many tracks starting from November until January. I can finally put out the music I've been working so hard on over the past year. But I'm very happy for it to finally be released and hopefully it pays off.
Yes. I think, as you said yourself, it's very diverse.
Yeah.
Very different styles. And you sort of, I guess, I don't know if you planned it, but you sort of bunched it all up.
No, I did not plan it. Unfortunately, every single label was like, let's all release it at once. And I'm like, let's not do
it's heading into like festival season.
Yeah.
Or Aussie festival season. So like,
I'm glad it's kind of being released during the most busy time. It's like being released at peak summer from November till January, which is great. But also a lot of festivals book in their acts before, like months before. So it's like, I'm kind of appealing at the wrong time. I mean, at the best time for audiences to listen to, but not at the best time for promoters to listen to it.
Well, promoters this time, and then, audiences this time, and then promoters next year.
Yes, exactly, yes.
Invest in that.
Yes, it's an investment. It's a long game. It's a long game.
So it's very exciting, all those releases coming out, and you said that you're going to build an audience from that.
Yeah, for sure, because I want to be the kind of DJ that, I want to be an artist rather than a DJ that's playing every single weekend at a club. Like I want to be someone that likes, like my idols like Skin on Skin and Kedema, that like they've got their own shows, they've got their own fans and people know and love them for their music. And so I want my work to speak for itself. And I've definitely done the like hard yards of like learning and getting better. And I'm going to stay humble and say that I am not I've got so much more to learn, and I feel like with producing, you're always going to be learning. Like, it's not something you're going to be like, yep, today I've finished Ableton. No.
You use Ableton?
Yeah, I use Ableton, yeah. And what's funny is, like, Datsko and Kedema both used Fruity Loops, FL, and it's crazy. Like, I'm just like, what? People use FL? But FL's legit. I'm just, like, used to Ableton, and that's, like, the most popular and industry standard. FL would also be industry standard, but it just has a funny name.
Yeah, I think I was talking to, I had Gez on a while back now, but I was talking to him as well, and Fruity Loops, or from my understanding, FL was very much like the rap game. Like rap
I know Soulja Boy used it.
Yeah, everyone like when I used to listen to rap, I still do, but when I was still like much more like, you know, like that stuff, everything was FL Studio. Like you went on all those like different, you know Genius? The YouTube channel Genius, they would do like all like the...
I haven't, no.
They do like the lyric breakdowns.
Oh yeah, I know Genius. Yeah, I know Genius, yeah.
So
I thought you were talking about like a rapper named Genius.
No, like the YouTube channel, like the brand. But they would do like the breakdowns of how someone made a track, and everyone was using FL. Or like majority of them were using FL.
Yeah, for sure.
And then you go into techno, and it's Ableton, as you said, is the industry standard.
Yeah, for sure. But I found it interesting that they use it, but each to their own.
Yeah, I think, as I said, it's cool that everyone gets like uses different platforms. But how is that making a track with Datsko who uses FL and uses Ableton?
You just like got to send each other, instead of like the Ableton file, because like he doesn't have the Ableton program, I'll just get him to like send me the stems of each individual like instrument, and then I'll put it into Ableton and then work with that.
Oh, okay.
And then we send it back and forth. But with Datsko, because he's such a G and so talented, a wizard, we don't even have to send it back and forth. It'll just be like, I'll send him what I like, a version of the track, and I'll be like, yeah, this is the vibe. Send it to him, and then he just makes it into fucking gold. And I'm like, how did you do this? But anyway, no, I love his vibe. His vibe is very different to mine. Yeah, like really like amazing music, great producer, but yeah, like chill lo-fi house vibes. Whereas like, I don't know, like I'm not saying mine is harder. Mine is like what I play out is hard, and I feel like majority of my tracks, I'd say like I'm still very much trying to find my own unique sound to my brand, but at the same time, the main thing that I feel like, the main theme I carry across when I'm producing my music is a hard hitting kind of like energy. Like it's gonna be like you will be dancing to it. It's not gonna be something you'll be like sleeping to. It's very like uplifting energy. Yeah,
Interesting. I want to go back to sort of, you mentioned Kedema as one of your idols or inspirations, I'm guessing. You got to support him earlier this year. Was that correct? How was that? How was that experience?
Oh, it's funny because before I supported him, like, yes, I've heard of him. I've listened to a couple of his tracks. I didn't know anything about what he looked like or like anything. After I got the offer, I like quickly like Google searched Ketema. Like, I mean, I've listened to him before, a couple of his tracks, not his full discography. I don't know where he's from, like what he looks like, etc. So I did some research into it. I'm like, oh, he's kind of cool.
So you didn't know him before you supported him, or you did know of him? But...
I've like know of him, but like, you know, it's like, oh yeah, that I like this one song from this one person kind of vibe. Like I didn't know his full brand, his discography, or like like any background to him. In comparison to like other artists that I like know more about, but it was really cool. Like he's a really nice guy. Now we still talk and we're like mates. It's funny because I thought like, and I don't know, when I met him I said really like silly things. I was like, firstly we were playing on St. Patrick's Day, and I was like to him like, oh yeah, so where in Scotland are you from?
Oh my god.
I am the biggest bimbo, but like my friends love me for it, I hope. But yeah, no, he found it like hilarious. And yeah, like obviously we're like still chatting and like mates, and like he was like, yeah, send me music. Like, and what was crazy is I guess after playing for Skin on Skin and Kedema, Steel City Dance Disc, which are a massive record label run by Mulgrab and another guy named Jared. Not Mulgrab, but Jared messaged me being like, hey, send us your music. And at first, like, I was like, oh, this dude's like trying to slide into my DMs. What the fuck? And then
wow, just missed the opportunity there. Just completely missed the opportunity.
And then my mate, who like essentially runs Lost with Seb, I like showed it to her because I was with her, and she's like, dude, that guy runs Steel City Dance Disc. Like, reply to that.
One of the biggest labels.
Yeah, I'm like, oh fuck. And then I messaged him like, hey, yeah, for sure, I'll send you music. And then I'm like, oh my god, I can't send him any music. Like, my music isn't good enough. Like, what the fuck? What do I do? And like, I even said to him, I messaged him, I was like, hey, look, like, I find sending music to you really intimidating, but I'm going to do it anyway. And he's like, send me whatever, like, you know, keen to listen to whatever you have. So I'm still like, I still don't feel like I'm at the level of my idols yet, but it's good that big labels like that, which I never thought would be interested in me and my brand and my music, are interested and like keeping an eye on me. And like, you know, other labels, like I played at the Sydney Opera House for Vivid. That was insane.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I've never been inside the Opera House before, and I got to play in the Opera House, which was insane. And that's the same with like BTV. I've never been to BTV. I've never played gone to a festival, and I'm going to be playing a festival, so it's cool. But yeah, so it was for Future Classic, the Vivid show. They were putting it on, and Future Classic, like, internationals were playing. It was with Nikki Nair and Martin Booty Spoon. So they're both pretty big internationally. And yeah, really nice guys. And yeah, like Future Classic was like, send us your music. But Future Classic, like, one of their biggest artists is like Flume, right? Super commercial, like
Everyone knows
yeah,
Flume.
really, like, yeah, like Future Classic is amazing, but yeah, they have very like clean electronic music,
Like
so
housey?
kind of, yeah, like some of their stuff is their music is housey, and some of it's very like electronica, like Flume vibes, you know what I mean? Like poppy vibes,
Like electro?
Yeah, so not so much the music that I make. Yeah, the music I make, I feel like, is very like underground, like. And what's funny was, like, when I played my set at the Opera House, which I feel like, and it literally had a red carpet. It had the nicest green room I've ever been in. It had, like, you know, the classic, like, when you go and when you imagine what the backstage of a concert hall would look like, that's what it looks like. It has like the light bulbs all around it, the vanity lights, and it has a red carpet, and it had fruit platters and champagne. Like, it was fucking bougie, and I was like, damn. And like, yeah, what was I saying? So Future Classic, the Opera House. What was that? I lost my train of thought now.
You were just saying how you were playing there, and I've actually lost my train of thought.
I remember. Yeah, it was like super like clean cut and like fancy. It was fancy. So then I played the heaviest techno.
Oh my god.
A lot of the techno tracks had like swear words, like, oh my god. Like, I felt like I was doing something dirty when I was doing that in the Opera House. I was like, this is illegal. I'm gonna go to jail now.
Was it like a crowd there, or was it you just sort of like music for ambience?
It was a crowd. Like, it was sold out. But the thing is, the Opera House are still very like COVID headed and strict on like numbers. Like, it's sold out like straight away because it's Future Classic, and they have like amazing headliners and myself, but also, yeah, like they're big, like massive, one of the biggest record labels in Australia. And yeah, they like, it was like half empty. I'm like, why didn't they pack it out? Like, I guess it's the Opera House. They don't want it to be like a rave.
Was it stand up?
It was stand up. It was stand up. Yeah. It wasn't, there's like the main concert hall, which is seated, where like orchestras and stuff perform, which I've never been to. This is one of the other like rooms, the halls, but it was standing. There was some seats like upstairs on like a second level, but then there was like, yeah, the standing area as well. Yeah.
Was that this year?
That was Vivid. Yeah, that would have been.
You said COVID. I didn't know that there was still COVID.
Nah, it's just the Opera House. Like, you know, the government. Like, anything that's super official, I feel like they're very nitpicky. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't think that they would be that thing. So you like played like a very hard set at a set that wasn't supposed to be that hard.
I mean, no, half of the set was chill, and then like, I mean, I still want to be true to myself, and I listen to the other artists. They play very, I guess, hard in their own way. It's still hard. It's like acid house and like a bit of techno and yeah, like, I don't know, there's like different types of techno, but yeah, the techno that I played towards the end of my set, I'm just like, damn, this is like this is dirty for the Opera House. But like Future Classic were happy with it. But yeah, I feel like essentially my like the music that I put out is kind of more underground compared to the more commercial side of like electronic music. But it's cool to have done that for them and to have these big industry eyes on me. Yeah.
What time did you play at? What time was that?
Let me check. It was so long ago. Okay, let's see. I would have done a post about it. I was like, oh my God, playing.
Because, yeah, I was going to say, you have had a good experience with playing a lot of different sounds. Do you think that's, obviously you said you're still looking for your sound, but do you think that's helped you? Helped you sort of like at least have an idea of what you want to be producing?
Yeah, for sure. As I said, like the reaction that I had from Oakley Sunnies, as well as playing the peak time sets, you're playing heavy, high energy tracks, and like there are artists out there that their vibe is like chiller, like non-techno, like just like house music, that do play those peak time sets. But I feel like you've got to be very established to that point to be booked to play like chiller vibes. And like, yeah, I want to play heavy stuff, and I'm producing heavy and soft stuff, but music, but eventually I want to be able to like play whatever I want. Yeah.
Okay. That's cool. As I said, you've got a very diverse range of music releases, especially coming up.
Yeah.
I want to touch on your sort of origins of within like your DJing and techno. How did you sort of get into that sort of stuff? Like, when was it, and how did you get into that?
Yeah, I feel like I've been DJing for a lifetime because I started when I was like 17 in high school, and yeah, like just as like a hobby. Like a lot of my mates that I like went to high school with would put on house parties, and we'd get like, we had proper decks, and they're like super, because I grew up in Melbourne.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you're Melbourne born.
Yeah. Well, actually, I was born in Hong Kong, but I moved to Melbourne when I was like 10, 11. My mum married an Australian, and then I grew up like, I mean, when you're a kid, like, yes, Hong Kong is where I'm from, but like my like home would be Australia, because that's where I grew up most of my life.
So you spent from 0 to 10 in Hong Kong?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
So you spent most of your infant childhood in Hong Kong?
Yes, my childhood was in Hong Kong. Yes, I miss the food. But like lifestyle, definitely like love Australia.
When did you move to Sydney then?
Only like 4 years ago.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I thought you were Sydney.
Yeah, a lot of people think I'm Sydney based, but it confused a few people when I first moved to Sydney and started DJing, because my bio would say like Melbourne and Sydney, and they're like, are you in Melbourne or Sydney? Like,
so you started DJing when you were in Sydney?
When I was in Melbourne.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I started DJing when I was in Melbourne as a hobby in high school, like towards the end of high school. And then after that, after I turned 18, I started playing like bars and some clubs, just from going out and meeting people. They're like, oh, we'd love to put you on. And then that became just like a side job. Like the rate that you get as a DJ in Melbourne is pennies.
Compared to Sydney, or just in
Sydney
general?
has money. Sydney has money. Yeah, rates are double here, and everyone's a DJ here as well as in Melbourne, but Melbourne more so. There's so much more music, so many more clubs, so many more promoters, and not as much money backing it unless you're a big act. Whereas in Sydney, there's less promoters, less as compared to Melbourne. Like there are a lot of like musicians and DJs, especially after your shot, in Sydney, but yeah, it's less saturated here, so there's more demand for it. And Sydney just being more of a business hub, where like, you know, big things like Vivid and the bigger labels here.
Tourism.
Yeah.
More everyone always says that Sydney's more touristy.
Yeah, it's just a business hub, and it has more money. So yeah, like immediately after moving here, my like rate doubled. But also after producing, like I give this same advice to any upcoming DJ or producer, and I would like to think that I am currently mentoring a few people, my little babies. Yeah, no, I don't want to be the kind of DJ, regardless or artist, regardless of how big or small I am. I want to hear them out. I'm gonna like give my time of day to these, like, you know, these up and coming artists, which I get sent a lot of music like every day by like producers and DJs that look up to me, being like, oh, can you listen to this mix? Can you listen to this song? Can you like blah blah, give me your thoughts? And I will actually listen to it and give you my like thoughts. Yeah, and anyway, so my biggest advice I can give to like upcoming DJs is if you want to actually make it a living, you do have to produce. Yeah. You can't get very far. Only a very select few, 1% of DJs, I reckon, can actually make it as a DJ, unless you're like a massive influencer. You know those influencers out there, they're like, oh, they're
Paris Hilton.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
it's the first one that I think of.
It's like that. It's like they're not actually a DJ. Like they're just an influencer, but they happen to like be a DJ. But yeah, I feel like
there's so many of those now.
Yeah, there's so many of those. But yeah, I'm talking about like real, authentic artistry. Okay, like you're playing good music. Not saying that they don't, but I doubt Paris Hilton is playing an amazing set. But
we know.
You never know. Maybe my mind is blown. Maybe I would love to go to one day.
Paris
actually,
Hilton at pitch next to you.
Yeah, that would be. I reckon that would actually be so funny. That would go off.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
be a talking point.
Yeah, but no, like we're talking about like people that really care about the art of music, right? And yeah, if you want to differentiate yourself to other people, you want to build your own fan base through your own music so that people want to like see you for you and not see you to play other people's music. But like, yeah, I mean, as a DJ, you can still have your own vibe and like select like really good tracks and have your own brand through playing other people's music. But it's just a lot more appealing, I guess, to even promoters. And like, I don't know, I find it a lot more rewarding to produce music rather than DJing. So back to me starting off DJing, after playing, getting pennies in Melbourne just as a side job, as a cool thing. Like I'd get my mates in for free to clubs and stuff, and like we'd get free drinks. I'm like, yeah, sick. Yeah, when I was like 18, 19, which is perfect. But then after that, I actually stopped DJing for a few years and like went to uni, studied, finished my degree. And after I studied like a marketing, advertising, graphic design type of like bachelor. Mm-hmm. Halfway through, I was like, fuck this, I hate this. But I'm the type of person that I'm going to pick up finish what I pick up. Mm-hmm. So I finished the degree and like worked a bit in like social media, and I was like, nah, I hate this. But luckily at the same time, I like COVID happened and I just finished my EP, and after putting out music, it's now like like going from hundreds to thousands an hour, and like your value like quadruples
from just production,
because like people want to see you for you. And a lot of big agencies like Proxy will only really seek out talent that are producers. Like agencies, there are some agencies that only hire DJs and represent DJs, but I think it's a lot tougher. And so my advice is to learn how to produce, and it's hard. Fuck, I'm still learning how to produce. I mean, I feel like I am a good producer, but I'm always going to continue to grow and like hone in on my skill. But yeah, that is my advice.
Yes, perfect. And then you did those club gigs in Melbourne, and then you stopped, and then when did you come back into DJing? After COVID?
It was during COVID, yeah. I think out of boredom. No.
Like, as in, your production came back during COVID. Then you started DJing again once COVID
because like I was like, you know what? If I'm going to get back into DJing, I want to DJ my own music. Like, one day, like I've spoken to Tom Santa about this like 2 days ago. Like, I was asking him to send me tracks to play at BTV, and then he was just like, yeah, sick, I'll send you a playlist. I'm like, yeah, okay, my 1.5 hour set was just going to be all Tom Santa music. And he's like laughing and being like, yeah, that like, mad, let's do that. And I was just like, you know what, props to any producer that can have like a 1.5 hour set of just their own music, which is unheard of. Even artists like Kedema and Skin on Skin don't just play their music the entire time. Like they'll have like other like producers and music involved as well as their own tracks.
I think actually, now that you said that, I think X Club's Boiler Room set was literally just an hour and 10 of just their unreleased music.
Bro, dude, okay. That is like steez. That's like, respect. Yeah. Like that's my goal. One day I will do that.
And it was a Boiler Room set as well. So that's
mad.
Yeah. Do that. But yeah, that like going back to what you're saying, you'll produce like.
Yeah, I just don't have as big a discography compared to X Club, who've been around for a while. Mm-hmm. Like I have only really come out with music the past 2 years, and it got me from like, not really like it being like not a reality to now a very like possible reality of being my job. And like, you know, if I can like live my life on what I love to do, like I've won. Yeah. So I do have my degree as a backup, but at the end of the day, I guess what struck me during COVID is that I'd rather live my life doing what I actually like to do than not.
And that's like what, producing and DJing?
Music, just producing. And yeah, I guess DJing and playing live is very much a part of it, building your fan base. Yeah, so producing and DJing goes hand in hand, as I mentioned earlier. So the more you produce, the more gigs you'll get and the more money you'll get.
Yeah, 100%. I think I agree with that, even though I'm not either one of those.
Yeah.
From everyone that I've listened to and everyone that I've talked to, they've all said they're very similar things, like production is very important.
Yeah, and also I would say that's 50%. The other 50% is marketing.
Marketing?
Yeah.
As in like branding?
Branding yourself, having like a strong like image and aesthetic to your vibe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think, what's your aesthetic and vibe? Have you figured that out, or are you still also in the process?
No, I reckon that my brand is solid for sure. My brand is me. Yeah, Shake Daddy. Shake's actually my last name.
I was gonna actually ask what the origins of Shake Daddy are.
Yeah, so Sheikh, but is my last name, but it's spelt like Sheikh. It's like Arabic.
Okay.
Yeah, my father is from Pakistan, has Muslim background, and like speaks Arabic, and like it actually means king in Arab.
So King Daddy.
Yeah, King Daddy, exactly. Period. No.
So where the name, where that second part of the name, where the daddy part
It was
come
just
from?
a nickname, like in high school. This one guy said Shake Daddy, and I was like, you know what, that sounds sick. And then I made it my Instagram when Instagram was invented, so a long time ago. And and then it just became my DJ name, which I reckon is like, honestly, I'm like happy with this DJ name, even though it kind of sounds like, I don't know, like a dildo.
Yeah, good.
Sure.
It's a good name. It's one of those names everyone always talk, like it's a name that you talk about. Like if someone mentions it, it's like, oh, what does that name mean?
Yeah,
It's
true.
like also part of the branding aspect of it. It's
Yeah.
like, it gets people talking about it.
Yeah, but yeah, I feel like my brand is like, yeah, I'm a female DJ, which there isn't many, and I'm also like person of color, like, you know, Asian and Southeast Asian background. So yeah, diverse kind compared to your like, you know, white male DJ, which is most of the industry. But you know, as of late, there's a lot more and more girls starting to DJ, which is awesome. Like I'm good friends with Fuckhead. Her name is Lynn, and yeah, even just like seeing other artists like out there, like Laura King, and yeah, like heaps of like female artists around, which is cool. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think you raise a good point there. That like, yeah, there's a lot of, I guess, yeah, very traditional white male DJs out there.
And it actually works to your advantage because there's less of you, there's a higher demand.
Okay.
So you don't have as many people, like, let's say you're a promoter, right? You can think of off the top of your head probably 100 like male DJs, and then you think of the female DJs. Oh, I can name like five off the top of my head. So it's like these promoters, when they book you, like you just get, there's a higher demand, which is good. And that's even the same for like people of color, or like, yeah, just like diversity. Yeah. But I don't want to, you know, as much as it works for me being a diverse, like, you know, I don't want to just be selected as the diverse, like, token DJ on the lineup. Like, I want, as I said, my work to speak for itself. So, yeah, I've been working really hard on this music to finally be released, and I want Shake Daddy to, like, I want to make the name Shake Daddy, like, really speak for itself with my, like, body of work, rather than, like, you know, branding and marketing aside.
Yeah, I think body of work sort of also feeds into that branding and marketing side of it, as you said before. That's very, very, very important. I want to ask, going back to that female DJ part of it, are there any like female DJs out there that you sort of are very fond of at the moment, or very like people to look out for?
Well, I feel like I actually have a mentor, a.k.a. Sports. She has done so many boiler rooms and is constantly traveling the world doing boiler rooms and shit, which is fucking awesome. She is on Proxy, but she also has reached out to me, or they have reached out to me to like send them music, and like, you know, she'll give me notes on my production, and like just like I feel like we like look out for each other, so I really respect them. And Mincy, the same, Froth Her Vibe, she's a legend. She's also reached out to us, send her music, but yeah, they're like probably a little bit more established compared to myself. I've been in the game for longer, I've been producing for longer, have their like own record labels, which I probably want to do and will do one day, but that's later. Yeah.
Later, after all those releases come out. Yeah, well, I think we've had a very good conversation. I think it's very exciting, everything that you have coming up, as we sort of touched on for the majority of the pod, is like all your releases and sort of how you've established yourself and all the advice you've given as well. So
sure,
it's been a good conversation. I've enjoyed it a lot. I enjoy all the conversations that I have with everyone.
Yeah,
it's good to get insights into the industry from everyone, even though, as you said, you know, a lot of people that you've talked to are very similar to the people that I've talked to in the past and stuff like that. But it's good to get everyone else's insights.
Yeah, for sure. Everyone's had a different journey to get to where they are.
Oh, wait, I wanted to actually, I was touching before we had the technical difficulty. I actually had a question in my head. It just came back.
Yeah.
When you supported Skin on Skin, when was that? Was that when he was in Sydney?
Yeah. So Skin on Skin, that was on his SOS tour. And yeah, what's funny was like, that was probably my like the first big show I'd ever performed in comparison to my like smaller, like opener like kind of sets. And I did open for him, but like that's fucking massive. And I actually met Skin on Skin, Emmanuel, that's his name, when I was 17 in Melbourne, because he's from Melbourne. Well, actually I think he's from Brisbane, but I met him when he was living in Melbourne when he was 17, because when I was 17 and DJing as a side hobby, I was also, please don't look into this, I was making R&B music. It's horrible. And actually it's not great, but it's not good.
Well, I mean, now you're making techno.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm meant to do. That's what I'm good at, so we'll stick with that. But anyway, I was making that, and he used to be a rapper named UV Boy before he was Skin on Skin.
But he still sort of uses that.
Does he?
I don't know. People relate to him as UV Boy.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. But yeah, I met him in Melbourne when he was just UV Boy before Skin on Skin. And through my mates that like, you know, it was like also, it has like an inner circle of like musicians as it does in any industry. And he was in that circle, and he came over to my house and we had Cole's chocolate cake. And he was he's a really lovely guy. One of the loveliest guys, music aside, just the nicest, most genuine, like lighthearted person, and everyone who's met him says the same thing. And my mates are really good friends with him, and I'm friends with him. He's a cool guy. But yeah, he like reached out to me, and before I even knew he was Skin on Skin, like I had met him like many years ago, and I went to this music festival. It's called Beyond the City, and it was in Melbourne a few years ago.
That was the COVID version of
the
Valley.
That was and I went to that, and he was playing, and I like added him on Instagram on my story. I was like, Skin on Skin, and he like added me back on his story, and I'm like, why the fuck is Skin on Skin adding me? Who is this cunt? and then I was like looking through his photos. I'm like, oh my god, it's UV Boy. And then I messaged him and be like, oh my god, I didn't realize you're Skin on Skin. And that was when I realized he was Skin on Skin. And like he saw, like as we follow each other, he saw me put out my EP and like me like, you know, honing in on like music, and he just reached out and was like, do you want to open for my show in Sydney? I'm like,
also, he asked you personally.
Yeah.
Oh, so it wasn't like through a booking.
Nah. I mean, he asked his manager.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, like he was like, yeah, I want her to play. And I'm like, what?
That's insane. That's pretty cool that like he personally wanted you to play.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like his agents or managers like building up the event.
But no, it was really cool. Like, and then like I chatted with him and I was like, dude, you're fucking thriving. I love your music. Like, you're like probably in my opinion, like my favorite like techno house producer in the entire like industry, like dominating. And my goal, you know.
But he needs to release more music.
Yes, he is soon. I'm pretty sure. He like posted a post on Instagram recently saying like, haven't put out anything in a year, gonna put out something soon, like teasing it.
He just released his the Magic song.
Oh yeah.
But he needs more music.
He needs more.
Because he didn't release anything since Burned and Bridges up until Magic. I don't think he released a single song.
Well, I would be I'm sure I have all the faith in him, but fuck, like once you come out with something that good, it's hard to stay.
Oh yeah, you sort of set the bar.
You've set the bar for yourself. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I'm sure he's like working hard, but he's also like traveling the world, like
Touring.
every single like every time I check his Instagram, he's somewhere new.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
and that's good on him though.
Yeah, for sure.
He deserves it,
But nah, that was like, you know, thank you for giving me that opportunity. It definitely like, you know, opened me up to like bigger and better things since that opportunity. Because like, yeah, after that I got signed to Proxy, and like, yeah, a lot of industry heads were at that show, and yeah, I was lucky enough to get that. But aside from that, he noticed me, and Proxy and all these, you know, like big industry heads and artists noticed me when I put out my music. So that's what you should do.
Produce music and you might get noticed by Skin on Skin.
Yeah.
Or someone else as big as him.
Yeah.
But no, that's cool. That's very cool. I wanted to ask that before, the technical difficulties. I'm glad I did. Because there was a lot of information and content there. So
yeah,
that was good. But yeah, I enjoyed the conversation. A lot of value as usual from anyone that I talk to. Hopefully everyone listening enjoyed the conversation. Obviously, Kyra provided a lot of value. And she's got a lot of exciting things coming up.
Yeah, for sure. Listen to my music.
Yeah, this episode will probably be out in between all of those releases. So if you haven't had a chance, you know, after this podcast is done, go listen to some of the releases that have come out since it. But, you know, as usual, like, subscribe, share, follow Kyra at shake_daddy. Is that what it is?
Shake.daddy.
Shake.daddy on Instagram. But, you know, besides that, hope you guys have a good morning, afternoon, and evening. And I'll see you in the next episode. My mic just died, but I'll see you guys later.